Everything is working.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is MUZBIZNES. I'm your co-host, Serge K, joining live from Los Angeles. We're having a great morning today. And I'm happy to introduce my co-host, Mike, who's joining us live from Moscow. Hi, Mike.
Hi there.
And I believe I'm speaking for me, you, as well as all the viewers and listeners when I say we are incredibly excited for today's stream. It's been a long time coming, many sleepless nights, and our guest can probably tell by our tired faces. I hope you'll excuse us for that. Mike, why don't you tell our listeners why we're so excited about today?
My pleasure. Artist, musician, author of more than 30 projects and more than 400 vinyl releases, sound engineer, consultant, teacher, photographer, and superstar DJ, Robert Babicz. Welcome to MUZBIZNES, Robert.
Welcome, Robert. It's fantastic to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Welcome.
As can see as you call it, the spaceship behind you. We can already see hints of it. More to come. And I'm just going to remind you of like the process and how the stream is set up. So the first part, which we call the theoretical, my colleague Mike will mainly be asking you questions about your background in music, how you got started, and what constitutes the Robert Babicz project, etc. And then the second part, which I call the practical, is where we will go over your studio gear and what you use to get that sound, all the tips and tricks, etc. Does that sound okay?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Fantastic. So I'm passing the microphone to my colleague, and let's get going. Mike, take it away.
Thanks, Chief. There is a blast of positive feedbacks from our audience. They really express happiness. They are happy to see you. Express their respect and the like. We have received and keep receiving a lot of questions. So we beg your pardon in case some of them will mirror each other in a way, okay? Yeah, because we also would like to touch those questions, the most interesting ones that are being posted at present. Okay. So let's start with the first question. What is going to happen with techno and tech house scene in the near 5 years, in your opinion, Robert?
I think the same that is happening the last 26 years. I mean, I'm doing this for 26 years, and it's constantly changing, but it's the same as well. So, yeah,
okay.
It's always interesting because little things are changing, but in the end, we have the bass drum and the people are dancing to the beat.
The core, the main aspects are still there, the dance and the kick drum.
Is there anything you dislike in nowadays production trends?
What gives me a little bit of a strange feeling is this that everything is supposed to be super professional. All the guys are doing business, and for me it's art and it's coming from the heart, and I have to do what I do because I think I will die if I'm not doing music. I have to. Like, I have no chance to do something else.
Okay. In your opinion, Robert, what is going to be in trend in 16 and 17? For example, as it was mentioned, funk is often considered to be this year's trend in different styles. And do you have a feeling that, I don't know, hi-hats are moving forward or something like that?
The interesting part of being a mastering engineer is that I see when people start to copy other people.
As our beloved comrade Ricardo Villalobos said, nobody is really inventing something. We just reinvent each other.
Great quote. That's a great quote.
Yeah, from what I see is, I think it's already really going on, is this coming back of techno, like techno. The whole deep house thing is slowly dying. Tech house was quite strong. Personally, like for myself, I have to I want to make. I don't know. I want to have. Or let's say, the last years, I was searching for a very perfect sound. It took me I tried to find the perfect sound, and now I want to have the perfect dirt.
The perfect dirt.
I'm missing. When I was close to find this perfect sound, then I understood. Okay, I'm destroying all this musicality in the music, because the real interesting thing is when the music is alive.
Do you mean that common movement to the more to the grooves and rhythm sections instead of melodies, and something coming from the heart, or
no? I like melodies a lot, but let's say it's more of a theoretical idea of when I started back in the 90s. We didn't have the computers and everything that is possible today.
Right.
You just had a few machines and you were doing something, and quite often you had no idea what you were doing, but you really enjoyed it. And you did a lot of mistakes, and many big hits are actually a mistake. Really. I spoke with so many people, and it's like they changed the wrong preset on the song, and it was like, wow!
It's something cool, yeah.
For me now is the interesting thing, and why I also created now a sub-label just for this topic, is
Dirt Cuts?
Dirt Cuts is when you make music and you are open to things that you didn't thought about. Like, okay, when I create a rhythm and I have an instrument and I take the wrong trigger signal, really it's basically a mistake, but in the end it sounds really cool, and I was not planning it. And then if you are able to see that this is a cool feature instead of a mistake, like opening yourself to things that you don't have in your mind. This is interesting. Like for me as a musician, because I think I got like closed, because when you do music for such a long time, you think, oh, I did this and this and this and then there's this. But now I want to be surprised again.
Cool.
And
spontaneous composition through
things
these spontaneous
that happen in real time that are not so planned. Because I mean, 95% of this today's music is, if you click through Beatport, sample packs on sample packs in Ableton Lego style. I mean, it works. It sounds like music, but it's not music.
We touched Dirt Cuts, and Dirt Cuts is dedicated to Rob Acid tracks, correct?
It's dedicated to
mostly.
Yeah, in a way, but it's more the idea of live created music that is improvised. And Rob Acid is my project for this year.
Yeah, one of your alter egos, right?
I'm super psycho.
So is it fair to assume that the way this process, the Rob Acid project, the way it takes place, is that you record yourself while performing, so you get live performances recorded? Yeah,
and I'm not editing, and I let mistakes happen.
And that's the feature of Rob Acid, right?
Yes.
Wow, cool.
And for me, it's really interesting because the two releases I have now, really they are just improvised and not edited or anything. And I know how many mistakes I have done, but the people don't know.
Very interesting.
or the people found it very cool.
Yeah.
Very interesting thing for me, because Rob Acid is definitely the reason I'm in the techno and tech house music during all my life. And you know, when I found out that one of my beloved musicians, Rob Acid, switched to Robert Babicz, which was his real name and surname, I started thinking that, okay, Rob has grown up, I should also do it. And and later on, when I noticed that Rob Acid existed, yes, and is existing at present, I started to treat your music and music from your projects a little bit differently.
Okay.
Junk Food released also mostly projects of yours, correct?
Yeah.
Department of Dance, Acid Warrior.
Yeah, all me. It's all myself.
Robert, do you have an idea? Do you think about to run a label for different artists? Because it would be, at least for me, that would be a great pleasure to taste tracks and projects that can be brought by you. Because if you had your own label with different artists, then it would be, of course, it would mean that this music is similar and close to you, and which means that it's interesting for your audience. What about that?
Actually, right now, I just the next Babicz style is a compilation of demos and tracks I got in the last few months, and I decided, okay,
wow,
I really like it, and I'm playing them. So it's time to open up.
Just to make it clear, those were tracks from demo records sent to you.
Of course, I never. People always sending me their music.
Yeah.
And
you have a collection of ones that you admire, right?
Yeah, it's really difficult to listen to all the stuff I'm getting every day.
Sure.
It's like impossible. But I'm choosing, like, okay, between a coffee, like, okay, let's listen to something. And I found a few tracks that are really nice and were surprising me. Really, like, there's someone from Kiev. There's someone from Athens, from Greece, somebody from Cologne, and I think somebody from England just 2 days ago.
Nice, very interesting. So we can expect something like a label from.
And Dirt Cuts is as well open. If the problem is that the most guys who sent me music were not understanding the concept. Dirt Cuts is Rob Acid is not like old school techno.
It's not. Of course.
No, Rob Acid is a concept.
Yeah.
It's an idea, and it's
right.
now. I want to make like modern music with old instruments.
Yeah.
But it's not just old music with old instruments.
By the way, Rob Acid versus Robert Babicz, if we can say so. Do you feel different sorts of inspiration? Do you start the track as Rob Acid or Robert Babicz in the very beginning, or it usually comes later whose song is being processed?
Sometimes it's later, sometimes I know. Babicz is more this aesthetic, warm, big sound.
Yeah.
In a way. And Rob Acid can be the dirty bitch that is slapping you in the face.
Yeah. Okay.
Something like this. I mean,
by the way,
I during the 90s, when I started and had, like, I got confident and on the stage and I was feeling it, I always had the feeling I'm a captain on a ship and we traveled through the transatlantic and having adventures with our boats. And then sometimes we had to fight and make like hero stuff.
Yeah.
And this is Rob Acid. It's kind of a comic fighter figure, hero, something like this.
Very, very, very interesting. Rob, what is behind Rob Acid? It was the whole story has started in the early 90s, correct? Is that a combination of TB303 plus youth plus acid house, or there is something else behind this name?
There's a secret that I will not tell you, but
okay. Okay.
but
you heard this first time on MUZBIZNES.
Yeah, a rebirth.
I mean,
it
was this machine. You see this one?
Yeah.
It's really fucked up thing.
Roland TB303.
Yeah, and
old motherfucker.
You can see it. Here's Rob Acid written with my blood, with my
Really?
Wow.
my blood.
Those were times when we get tired from 303, but today we have already started missing it, yeah. And it's
Mike, these
back.
were times where we literally bled for our music, as we see in this case.
yeah, sort of. Okay, let's move to another question. Tak. Who or what influenced Rob Acid, and who or what influenced Robert Babicz? If we take this stories separately, these characters separately, do you have some authorities, some teachers, I don't know, some idols?
I mean, the whole acid thing came from, like, for me, from Future and DJ Pierre and like
DJ Pierre.
The old school guys that are still doing really amazing music these days. And when I heard acid tracks from Future the first time on radio, how old I have been, maybe 17, I thought I am listening to alien music.
Alien music.
I had this 2 times in my life. Once when I was 9 years old and I had a small radio, and every night when I had to go to sleep, I took my radio into the bed and were listening to music during the night. Once I had there was a radio show of electronic music only without vocals. And they played kind of space music. And at that time, I mean, I was 9 years old, and I had no idea. I never heard this kind of music. Like Klaus Schulze, really old music. And as I've been a fan of science fiction at that time, I still am, but I like like spaceships and stuff. I really, really, really thought that I got a transmission from a transgalactic spaceship that is just up over me in the sky, and I got so afraid, like, because I thought it's real. they are above me.
Yeah.
They will get the Earth, and I mean, I thought this is really space music, and this music was really touching me. And the second time I had this feeling was when I heard Acid House. Because before there was like house music, but with pianos and a lot of soul and vocals, and acid music was so abstract. It was for me it was like super mental heavy metal in a way that it was going
something crazy. Yes,
it was so crazy. I remember I was sitting at home listening to my favorite radio show at that time, and I started to cry when the music got like the track is really long, and after like a few minutes I thought, okay, what's coming next? But nothing. Just the sound was changing and more, and I was like going into this sound, and I started to cry.
Do you happen to remember that show and that radio station?
Yeah, I remember. It was RPR Maximal. A radio station from where I recorded my music back then on tapes.
This is when you know the sound is so profound that even years later you still remember the show and the name, and that's incredible.
Yeah, it changed. It changed me, and at that time I really wanted to know what is this instrument, and. And I thought it will be like a super big synthesizer, like 2 meters high, and I don't know, and I was kind of super disappointed when I just got this little plastic silver box, and I thought, what? This? No way! Shit! But yeah, I'm in love. It's a love story, and
that little thing changed the world. Definitely.
For me, yes.
And now let's have a look at another character, which is Robert Babicz. And what is the story behind there? Who or what influenced Robert Babicz?
This whole when I decided to be like put all the different names I had at that time into one person. It was the idea of I don't want to hide anymore. I'm grown up.
Yeah.
All these different projects and all these different styles, they are all me. And I think it has to do as well with that I have children. I'm a father, and my daughter was born 2000.
Okay. Millennium girl.
Yeah, millennium girl. And I think 2 or 3 years later, I decided to change everything and be more open-minded. At that time, techno was a bit boring. It was the time of super hard techno, just strong beats, very fast, no melodies, no interesting stuff, just.
Compact Schallplatten has started later, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They came a little bit.
Okay. The next, what is the most frequent mistake among the beginners, in your opinion? So there are a lot of young musicians. Your opinion is very authoritative for us. So what is the most frequent mistake? What they are to avoid?
Okay, one of the biggest mistakes is to put too many ideas into one song. A lot of demos that I'm getting are too full of stuff. Like you can make like 4 songs out of one this. When you want to, it's more of a show off, where you try to show, oh, I can do bass lines, I can do this, I can do beats.
Yeah.
And the songs are really crowded.
You mean they have too many thoughts that sound at once, or the whole plot is too complicated?
it's not about complicated. It's about
too much.
Wanting too much. Or the other way, a lot of demos are so empty. They are just a loop and some bass sound and nothing, like empty. And I have two categories of music.
Wow.
Music that is touching me and I'm feeling, and music that I don't feel.
Okay.
Simple, but to the point.
I'm open to all kind of music. It's just the music have to touch me. Like I want to feel. It has to resonate with me.
Okay.
And a lot of music
doesn't.
Ghost production, quite an actual topic nowadays. Did you have such experiences, and what is your attitude?
I got asked many times.
By Madonna?
I don't say it. No, but I got the request from some really famous people as well. But I always say no. It's not my. I'm not interested in this at all. They can do the music themselves. If they want to make music, they should do music. It's not my part.
Do you also refuse if some pop musicians ask for remix?
No. If the music is interesting and I can hear something, let's say it other way. For me, when I take a remix, is if I feel there are elements in it where I can improve the song in a way, or do my own interpretation, and it's inspiring me, then I take it. I have no borders between styles. If the music is nice and I have an idea, then it can be interesting.
Okay. What in your opinion is more important, production or performance? How do you position yourself, more as a producer or more as a performer?
I am both. I'm in this lucky position that really I'm thankful for this, that I can produce during the week, and on the weekends I can play the stuff that I have produced.
Yeah.
So it's a constant, I have this constant feedback with the people, because I'm playing live the songs, and then I see how the people react, and then I go back to the studio, and maybe I know, okay, for the next song, maybe I need something like this or this. It's I have I'm not a DJ, but when I play my sets, I have sometimes the feeling, okay, the DJ. I try to listen to the music from the other artists that are playing before and after me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I hear something interesting, like, oh, this is interesting. I'm not going to this guy and asking him, what is this? Okay. I'm just saving the idea and going home and make it myself.
Making the music.
Cool.
Excellent.
Yeah. Artistic approach. Very nice.
Yes. On the spot inspiration is what I would call it.
That's how I do it.
Robert, by the way, are there any preparations before gigs?
No. No.
Yes and no, or no?
It's I'm improvising, and I have like two different sets. Robert Babicz and Rob Asset. Rob Asset is really full analog with all these toys, and there I program all the sequences and the beats on the stage just before I start, and then I play. And with Babicz, my laptop is full of thousands of loops and sounds from my productions, and I just go. when I play, it's not I am playing music for the people, it's the people playing me with their reactions. It's the way how they react and how it's giving me input where I have to go, where I want to go.
Robert Babicz is on MUZBIZNES. Very nice. Coming back to that demo topic, there are many talented techno producers among the youth, as you have already mentioned, you play some demo, and here we have a question. Do you play demo records in your DJ sets? We have already answered that question. Probably, is that maybe a way to make it possible to hear? Because, for example, if I imagine myself being a young techno producer who is fond of your music, and I would like to you to hear my demo. Is that some way to make it possible to listen? Because there is a lot of stuff, demo stuff, which is sent to you. Maybe you, for example, maybe you prefer among the demos, you prefer those ones with German vocals, or I don't know, whatever. Strong hi-hats, you know.
No, what I prefer is getting links where I don't have to download anything. Make it as easy as possible. I just play, listen. I don't want to download anything. I just want to listen. And if I like it, then I write the person quite fast and asking him to send me an unmastered version, a raw version of the song. And then I master it here with my tools, and then listen again.
Okay. So,
and then I play, and if again, it's like level by level. If I still like it and I think it's cool, then I will play it maybe in one of my sets just to test it. And if I feel, oh, it makes sense with my music together, then I sign it.
Okay. Okay, so dear subscribers, you have just heard how to reach Mr. Babicz. Okay.
Just be nice.
Just be nice. Yeah. Philosophic question. What was your biggest disappointment, if there was any?
In what way?
I think both. In maybe in music, or maybe in life. There is no definition of it.
Okay.
That's why we treated it philosophically.
Okay. The biggest
disappointment.
Yeah. Okay. I can tell you something that is a bit that is very kind of private.
Okay.
I was born in Poland, and my parents were running. Leaving Poland when it was a communist state.
Yeah, you was 6 or 7 years old, right?
Yeah, and we've been something like in German it's called Aussiedler. We came to Germany with nothing, and we were living very poor. At the same time, my parents, or my father, he was not ready to have a child. Okay. That means he was not nice, like really not nice. He was beating me a lot when I was a child, and I had a very hard youth. So the biggest disappointment I had was how my life started, because as a child you love your parents, whatever they do.
Yeah.
When your parents are super sick bastards and not nice to you, at least, I mean, I still love my father and I forgave him, but he was really not treating me nice. So I grew up with the feeling that humans are horrible.
Yeah.
This how I grew up. And till the moment when music got into my life. Music really saved my life.
But you mentioned
that's a very inspirational.
Humans were not doing it. It was music.
And there is, as a result, we have received such a wonderful and beloved musician, artist, photographer, and whatever.
Yeah, I did. Do you know TED Talks? If you
TED
ever
Talks, of course.
I did one. You can find it on YouTube.
I unfortunately I couldn't understand it because you spoke German.
Yeah, and there are if you click down, there
are subtitles for the
subtitles. It's completely, somebody made a translation of the whole thing in English. There's
excellent.
About this topic and how I started and why I'm so crazy.
Do you have a favorite track among yours, and what makes it so special for you?
Oh.
And please don't forget Acid Warrior and other projects that Rob Acid, Robert Babicz, and different projects. Do you have your the most beloved baby among yours?
Yeah, that's something I wanted to say, that it's always the song I'm working on. It's my most beloved one. They are all my babies.
Yeah, of course.
When they are ready, I let them free. Yeah, of course. There are some songs they stay without getting old in a way. But I made so many. I just got a letter from in Germany. We have a special system from the government where you send all the names of the songs you did, and I already did like 1,000 songs.
Yeah, more than 400 vinyl releases.
Yeah, it's 1,000 songs.
Yeah.
I'm
very impressive, yeah.
And Serge, by the way, look, Robert, like a loving father, doesn't name any of his children in order not to get others feel как это сказать-то, ревность. Feel jealous.
Yes.
Okay, Serge, what is your favorite track?
I have to say, I'm a big fan of these older, warm sounds, because nowadays you hear less and less of them. And even yesterday, I played your track Berlin, and I had it on a loop, and I kept going, and I absolutely love the sound of it, because you don't hear many tracks like these nowadays. Nowadays, everything has to be everything has to be over-processed, and everything has to be squashed and over-mastered, and etc. And you don't get to feel so close to the sound as I did in that track. So I absolutely love that track.
Berlin was made for... I had a gig at the Love Parade, I think 1994, and I did this track. I did this to play around with an idea, and recorded this, and drove by car to Berlin to the Love Parade, and I was listening to this melody. Yeah, and then I thought, okay, maybe it's nice. And when I played it, the people loved it, and I thought, okay, junk food, next one.
and I also would like to name my favorite track, and I have a little question, personal. I would kindly ask you to sign this for me. Do you recognize it?
Let me see. Audiomatique and...
Correct.
Which one was it?
Lydia.
Lydia.
Yeah.
Lydia is, by the way, the second name of my daughter.
Oh, okay.
And Lydia, the track was made 2 weeks before my daughter was born. It was when I was touching the little baby in the stomach, of my ex-wife.
Yeah.
I had this feeling of my daughter, and I created the song.
Wow.
So is it safe
Such
to
a
assume
romantic-
that the song is actually named after your child, and you already were thinking about life changes and what changes you were going to go through as you started working on this song, and it reflects these life changes in your life?
Yeah, but at that time I had no idea how what will come. Of course you never have the idea. But something interesting, something philosophical. I have the feeling that every event in your life, every big event, something that is happening to you, is changing you, right?
Correct.
Of course.
And
Of
I
course.
think, and stuff that happened in the past are still working on you. Like whatever good or bad happened to
Sure.
you, you change.
We are
by-
always in the shades of that.
Yeah, but now I'm almost. I think that things that happen in the future already work now. Like the energy is slowly changing you towards an event before the event. And I can see it on my music many times. I did, because my music is very personal, it's kind of diary, because I do one track per day. So it's really, most of the songs are the feeling of that day I had. And many songs taking moments of my life that will come, that came later. I did already process through music before. And I didn't knew that. I just, like in the recent years, I start to understand when I listen to all these songs I did, that many of the songs were made just before something happened, like songs that were very emotional. They came before something happened. It's it's a theory, but it's very interesting. How energy maybe work. I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah, I personally think, I think, Mike, maybe you'll agree with me. It's one of the virtues of being an artist in general is that I personally think that artists are maybe more open to these energies, and they get emotionally maybe more invested, and they feel these things that others might not necessarily feel.
For this topic as well, I have something. Many people ask me what kind of music you listen to when you're in your private home, and it's.
We also have such a question.
Yeah, and I can tell you something that is maybe not nice. I try not to listen to music too much, and it's because of a reason I found out that if I don't listen to music, I hear music inside me, and this music is super interesting. And I don't want to. If I listen a lot of music from outside, this inside music is getting silent. And something that I really love is going to the forest, to the nature, and being alone, and just listen to this inner music and the nature. And it's like an inspiring, constantly super interesting music that, it's coming. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's like silent inside.
Oh.
We're very, very happy that it is coming, because that is the music that we all love and listen to.
Definitely topic to think about. Maybe we shouldn't
try it. Just really make an experiment. Try not to listen to music 1 week or 1 month.
At all?
Really, at all.
Did you have such experience, Robert?
Yes.
Wow, how many times?
Wow,
And
It's hard to believe.
It's very intense because you know, I'm doing ambient music and in very silent music, and I'm doing very, very loud hardcore music as well.
Yeah.
And for me, they are the ends of the same, because super, super loud music makes me inside very silent. And very, very silent music for me can be super loud because it's so intense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They are connected to each other. When music is very, very loud and intensive and super hard, it's just one silent topic. And the same with silent music, it can be super loud. Have you ever been in a super silent room where you're just able to listen to your heartbeat and the blood flow?
And when the silence just
Yeah.
presses the... Yeah, I think so.
This is amazing loud.
Yeah.
Just
So-
your body.
Yeah.
Just the existence of breathing, that you take a breath and your heart is beating, can be super intense.
I even think that we see the same kind of we see the same in classical music a lot, where the music doesn't have to be overly loud, and a lot of times it isn't, and it doesn't have to be fast, and a lot of times it's not, and yet it evokes just a storm of emotions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Except our electronics, such as techno and tech house and electronic ambient and those genres where you and your alter egos are producing. What kind of music do you like? Could you stress some genres or styles that you like? Maybe metalcore.
Yeah, I had a moment in my life where I liked speedcore.
Speedcore. Yeah.
But right now, in my car, I have jazz music.
Serge.
I myself am a huge fan of jazz music, Robert.
Yeah, it's nice the way how you play with systems. I like jazz. Sometimes I'm teaching. I'm not teaching, but my son is into hip hop and trap. He's 12 now, and he is asking me, "Papa, how can I do this sound, and how can I make this?" And I'm showing him, okay, this and this, and he just 2 months ago he asked me, "Papa, can you show me Logic, and how can I produce some beats? I want to make it." And I was listening to a lot of this music because my son
Yeah.
asked me to. There were
Yeah.
some nice ideas. Of course, classical music can be very, very intense, inspiring. I'm a huge fan of experimental music as well,
Such as
such as Karl-Heinz Stockhausen. Maybe you ever heard of him? Like-
noise,
Yeah, it's not kind of it's very
IDM.
yeah. It's IDM, but from the 1950s.
Wow.
I can post you some links. Do you know that basically the electronic music was already invented during the 50s?
Yeah.
And it was a big center of electronic music was Cologne at that time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One
I
of
don't
my
know.
beloved cities.
In Cologne we had a studio for electronic music during the 50s, and this was very abstract music. I just found it out later when I grow up and got into this music that the history is super interesting when you learn how things developed, and before even synthesizer were made. They made amazing music, that is still, for me, there are so many really great projects and songs that were made during the 60s and 50s that are still so much better than most of the stuff today.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Do you have any recommendations from these artists? Yeah, I'm sure that, well, we personally would love to hear some.
After our talk, I can send maybe like a few links.
Yeah,
excellent, that'd be great.
Thank you very much.
There's really amazing music. They're very, very inspiring.
Okay. Is there something that can make you feel nervous before your live show?
I was always almost dying before I had to play, when I were like really like dying. But recently, I think in the last 2 years, I'm more relaxed, and now I know what I'm able to, and I know my systems, and I know my stuff, and I don't have to be so afraid anymore. Before I was so afraid. So I've been so afraid, and during like today I play with Ableton and some equipment. Before I was traveling with 70 kilos of instruments, and like I had a full table of stuff, and there was always something going wrong. And always some machines were going out of sync or out of tune or this and this and this. And I was like praying, please, this time at least 30 minutes, no problems.
Okay.
You don't have this anymore today. You know, you open your Ableton and press play and it runs and it's perfect every time. Back in the days, it was very different.
Yeah. Serge, is there something that can make you feel nervous before your live show?
Oh, everything. I myself, I graduated from a music school, classical piano, and I can recall every single concert I ever gave. Every single time. I remember going there to the concert, my hands shaking, and I was afraid that when I sat in front of the piano, my hands would start shaking so much I wouldn't be able to hit any of the right notes. Gradually, I learned to suppress this, but yeah, it was a big problem. Big problem.
A couple of more questions before I think we could move to the most interesting part of our space journey. Do you consider additional businesses, promoting new artists, running fashion label, opening a restaurant, etc.?
Okay. The only thing that I want to do is I don't know where my cat is, Nala. People tend to love my studio cat. And I think I want to do some t-shirts with Nala and sell them.
I will buy a couple of them.
But no, I'm so busy with so many things. I'm helping companies with my ideas, inventing hardware, doing mastering. I have this mastering business. I'm a sound designer. I did a lot of sounds for companies. I think I'm busy enough.
Okay. And the last question: how much time do you spend making music? How often do you have breaks? And do you think it's necessary to make pauses while you work?
Yes. It's okay. I'm in at the studio when I'm not traveling every day, mostly, because I'm workaholic. But I try to, because I have a really nice forest like 5 minutes away from here. And I try to go there as much as possible, because I learned that I got the best ideas always after some time in the silent. And every few hours I have to jump up a little bit and go around. Or something that is good as well, if you do dance music, try to dance to your songs.
Yeah, right.
Because it's a different view to a track when you're dancing the track through it, because you can feel the energy of the grooves and the sounds while you dance, while you're moving. It's very different than just thinking of here. Just it helps. And another tip to make better music: play your music, go on the toilet, and sit down. And then something interesting happens when you listen to your music on the toilet.
Okay.
You can hear a very different view on things that is maybe too loud or not loud enough, or the mix down is not well, because all the details are gone in the toilet. The only thing you can hear is like boom, 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 and maybe some melodies. And if it's still working, then you have a great song.
You have an amazing mix.
You know, and I've recollected the track by Bloodhound Gang, which sound like I'm in the bathroom, so probably my sound gonna sound like shit.
This is Mastering Secret by Robert Babicz. Listen to the track in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no, I mean it really serious, because it really helps you to get a different view on your mix. As a second tip would be, try to listen to your song in as low as possible, like from the volume.
Oh, okay.
Really make the lowest possible volume on your system, and the things that you hear are the loudest things in your mix. And if you are able to make to hear most of the sounds, even and at that moment when everything is super silent, then your mix is very balanced. If sounds are really sticking up, then they are really too loud. Try it.
We have naturally started to move into the practical part.
Yeah.
Yes, Serge, we have discussed that story with loudness in terms of Robert Babicz many times. And I think you will have an interesting dialogue now. So, our dear beloved and priceless subscribers, yes, Robert Babicz says make pauses. and listen to your music in the toilet as a reference. Okay.
So, two practical pieces, great pieces of advice. Be nice, important. Yeah. And listen to your music on the toilet, just as important.
Yes.
Okay, guys. Now could you please discuss technical topics? And I will turn into a listener.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, Robert, let's get more into the technical side of Robert Babicz as well as Rob Acid projects. And I would like to start with this question that me and Mike talked about yesterday in the interview that you gave about this idea of an atomic clock, because many people are not familiar with this.
Yeah.
And maybe you could even show us what an atomic clock is, what it looks like, and what its functionality is.
So the basic idea of how I understand the topic of clocking is your computer or your digital gear has a steady clock, a reference clock, like your converters, everything. You know, you have your sample frequency, like 1.1 kilohertz. And there is this timing, there's this clock that is giving the next step. And in the typical equipment, the converters, and here it's interesting. I think one of the why people tend to say digital is cold is not because digital is so perfect. It's because digital makes so much mistakes of jitter, of that this clock is not stable, and this clock is not or the other way around. The nature has an unlimited resolution of perfect moments. The nature is perfectly clocked. The resolution is endless.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, I had this when the company came to me and said, "We have something interesting. Please try it out." They gave me this unit and said, "Okay, we come back 2 weeks later."
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else. And I thought, what is this? Makes no sound, nothing, just a clock. I put it in my system, and I thought, okay, something strange. Why it's a bit different. Like, what is this? And during more work, I understood. Oh, it sounds better because it's like more precise, more open. The rooms are bigger. I can hear more stuff in my music, and I didn't understood why.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was reading and trying to understand what's this. And I think it's because the computer and all my digital gear is getting a really stable clock. So in your sound card, in your computer, or in your clock, there's a quartz oscillator, and it's kind of stable. Okay, nice. But if you control your clock by atomic generator, there's a rubidium oscillator in it. It's like swinging in the frequency, and it's super stable. That means that this thing goes wrong 1 second in 1 million years. It's like so super stable. It's so precise that it goes on all the digital gear and makes it feeling analog.
Mm.
It was a big topic a few years ago. Now the really modern, the best converters now on the market, they have a very improved clocking. Like the high-end stuff these days got really better. So it's not a big topic anymore. Just for all the viewer outside, I just show my little thing. So this is my mastering converter. This one. This is the atomic clock, and this is my 32-channel converters for the system here. Mm-hmm. And the atomic clock is basically clocking the converters. The one signal is going to the computer and to some digital gear with clock input.
I see. So most of your gear, it's safe to say most of the gear in the studio is analog gear.
Yeah,
correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
That's excellent. And this begs the very...
there's this ongoing question of what is better, analog or digital?
Right.
Nothing is better. It's sometimes a song needs this, and if you are able to, like, I'm super thankful that during all these years I was able to buy some stuff and I have the choice to use what I think the song needs. I have this choice. I can use a plugin, or I can use the real thing as well.
Right. You go by what the music requires, not
what the music requires. Many times, sometimes I do. Well, like the main element can be a freeware plugin that sounds super amazing or super shit because it's what I need at that moment.
Yep, perfectly understandable. And this begs the very next question. Considering that most of the gear at hand that you have is analog gear, the next question is, when you get tracks from clients, what is the process of the Robert Babicz mix or master? Do these, for example, when these tracks come in already recorded in a digital format, does it make sense to run them through tape, or do you just work in digital workstation at this point?
Makes a big it makes a big change when something that I got into like in the last couple of years is that I have a collection of many microphone preamps, and that is interesting. I have a lot of different microphone preamps, and every one has a different kind of color. And you don't need microphone preamps just for microphones. You can use them for your synths as well. And then it's getting interesting that if you have your digital music and your sounds, you can run them through mic pre's and give them a real analog texture. And I have like it's almost like a color palette where when I get mixes, I can run them through all these different colors and put the colors together. Some of the preamps you can see here. So
what are these? Is that what companies are these? What preamps?
This is there's they are called 500 modules amps, like gear. So you have this is API. This is kind of Neve copy. Then you have some strange stuff. This is really nice. A Designs Pacifica, very very nice. Then one of my really favorite things is this Electrodyne preamp, and then I have equipment that is made just for me by a friend. And then I have more of this strange stuff. I don't know if you see a little bit. Yeah, channel strip by API, tape echoes, tube compressors that are really nice. Yeah, and then I something I really like for processing sounds and plugins as well is guitar stuff.
Like pedals, guitar pedals.
Yeah, I have. I don't know if you see it. A huge collection. It's like full of stuff that is perfect, like for one special moment. And it makes like it gives sounds a texture as well.
That's interesting, because having so much gear, do you find, for example, so much just pedals, do you find that you go from pedal to pedal trying to find how each one sounds, and then once you find that one where you're like, that's it, it sounds amazing, I have it. Is this the process you go through?
Yeah. I know most of them because I use them so many times. So if I have an idea, I want some kind of overdrive or distortion, then I know, okay, maybe try this or this or this. But then, of course, I always have some favorites.
Right.
Just now since a few years, I have one thing, like almost every monophonic synth I'm recording, I use one this thing. Can you see it? Wait. I don't know.
I see it's an amplifier. Sans amp.
Sans amp, yeah. It's kind of DI and overdrive circuit in parallel. And it makes almost every synth better. in a way that it's easier to mix and the signal is more stable. It works on plug-in synths and analog synths as well.
So you run pretty much everything through it.
Yeah, like the monophonic synths, they are running through this, and then they go to channel strips and compressors and blah blah blah. But
I see.
This is one of the really interesting tools.
That's really cool, really cool. And another question that's somewhat tied to having all this analog gear. One of our viewers is asking, how long does it usually take you to make a full track, having all the gear and having to connect and maybe tune some instruments once they? How long on average would you say?
1 day, sometimes 2 hours. Between 2 hours and 10 hours, I would say. Like a complicated song can take. Let's say I start a studio session at 9 or 10 a.m. and I do the final or the first mastering, like the recording and mastering of the song at 10 p.m. And then I'm done. It's like a 12-hour day.
That's incredible.
Wow.
So you have a track a day already,
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah,
Isn't that amazing?
I have a strong opinion on this. Maybe it sounds strange, but if a song after a full day of work is not almost finished and good, I delete it. And I delete it totally. I don't have like my hard drive is not full of started songs. Every song
Old project.
I start, I finish, or I delete.
Wow.
I don't have anything, some stuff that I never finished.
That's incredible.
Because if an idea is strong enough, like the best songs I did are the ones I made in a very, very fast time. Because the idea is so strong that you want to finish it, and it's almost ready. If you have to sit long time on it, then maybe the idea is nice but not strong enough. Then it's better to delete it and start a new song next day with fresh ideas. With this way, you get way deeper into the music. Because I see people working months on a tech house song.
Yeah.
I mean,
being pregnant with a single track now.
Working like 5 months on 5 minutes of beats and a bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you can do it. But in that time, I did many albums and were traveling 3 times around the world. It's okay, you can do it. But I think why I'm so why I do this in that way is when I started making music and before I just had a few instruments and I was today I understand it. At that time I was too lazy to make arrangements. And I played everything live and improvised. And then during the time I learned that it's really interesting to program everything on stage just before I play. So I did this every weekend. So I played my set, deleted all the patterns, and started next week again. With this, it was like the best musical school I ever can imagine, because I learned to decide. This is something very, very, very important during the studio process, that you are able to decide. You have 100 kick drums. You don't need this 100. Take one and use this.
Right.
You know, we can. These days, you have millions of possibilities, and you are not able to decide which one you have to choose. Learn to choose something and use this.
Especially with all these sample packs available nowadays, so much is just there at the fingertips.
It's unbelievable. I mean, of course, if I imagine I would start these days, you can do so much just with a simple laptop. I mean, everything. You can do all the music I'm doing with my tons of toys inside a laptop. No problem. Just it takes maybe longer because why I still love all this gear is because it helps me to be fast. I just go, play a note, and the note is there. And I grab the parameters and create the sound. With the plugins, most of the people switch just through 1,000 presets, like tick, tick, next, next, and they don't create sounds anymore. I'm much faster. If I have an idea, I need some strings that are super soft and this, then okay, create them. It's it takes me 10 seconds, and I have the sound I'm after.
So synthesis versus sampled sounds. Robert Babicz is in the synthesis camp.
On MUZBIZNES.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. I'm not a big sample user. Yeah, I think I was always afraid that if I sample something, people beat me because I steal it.
Right.
It's better
big
to
issue
create.
Nowadays.
It's better create yourself. It's fast, really. Sampling is nice, but I can create all the sounds just in a few seconds.
Okay, cool. Let's now dive into your spaceship. This is the topic we've all been just like dying to talk about. Let's start with your present setup. So we see all the gear. Maybe you can just guide us the signal process. Where does the signal originate? What chain does it go through?
Yeah.
Etc.
I have a kind of mixed setup. That let's say the heart of the studio is right at this moment. The heart is this box.
Wow.
This is where all signals come together from all different areas. They come into this. It's a summing box where all signals from the computer and from the gear, from the mixer. I have a mixer as well, where the analog gear is connected to the mixer. And also the mixer signal is coming here, and the computer signals coming here together into this. And then
into
they
the same summing box.
Into the same summing box, and this summing box is connected to this tape machine. Oh, wait, I go with you to the tape machine. So, before I told you that I'm one of these old school guys still working with tape. It's this big machine. It's almost like a tank. So I use this kind of stuff.
Real tape.
Real tape. So I winded it here around and record my music on this.
I knew these existed. They were not a myth. I knew it.
These days you have simulations of these machines, but it's nice. It's nice. And then I have like nice synths stuff.
What are some of the synths? Some of these things I see, for example, is that a Moog synthesizer that is on right now?
No, this one is my recent favorite synthesizer. It's the Prophet 6 from Sequential. Yes. It's super amazing. It never sounds bad. It's perfect. Okay, let's have a look. So much gear, so much stuff. Yeah, something interesting. Many people ask me how I do my big reverbs. And I have the analog reverb, and it's this. I don't know if you see this thing.
Wow.
And what you see is my reverb.
Wow, Robert, my mind is blown. My mind is blown.
This big box, it's very huge. It's a reverb from end of the 60s. And it still sounds amazing. Amazing. Wow.
What kind of reverb sound does it reproduce? Is it more plate or is it more hall?
No, it's a spring reverb, but it's the top spring reverb that were done at that time period. That sounds like a big natural room. Something interesting. The reverb time is controlled by this.
Wow.
Dry wet, and what's that?
No, it's 2 channels, and I have the possibility. Okay, maybe we can show this. Right. Okay. Why not? One moment.
Sure. That'd be amazing. Yeah, I doubt too many people have heard the real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you hear this. Can you hear this?
Yep.
Okay, this should be pure. Okay, this is a TB303, right? Okay, so and this is the reverb. I don't know if you can hear it.
Oh yeah.
It's very, very huge. So this is without.
Wow, that is the sound that drives most of us insane. Wow.
Yeah, you can come into your like straight away. It's amazing, really. It sounds it's this strange box there. It sounds very alive. Beside that, I like a lot of eventide reverbs and lexicon for the basic.
Okay.
For the basic stuff.
What about utility gear? For example, headphones and monitors. Do you have any recommendations, or do you find that in your productions it makes a big difference depending on what you use? I'm not using headphone during production at all. Just sometimes to listen to, like, if I have to listen to music. But my monitoring system, my speaker system. Okay, one story, because people like stories. Please.
Wait. Why I have these speakers?
Robert, excuse me. Could you please a little bit? Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, it's a very sunny day here.
Yeah.
Okay, why I bought exactly this speaker. I think 3 or 4 years ago, I got invited by Daft Punk to the studio in Paris from them. And they had the first pair of this speaker. The company is called Guzalski Swift. It's a small company from New York. Okay, so I got invited to the studio and we had like tech talk, blah, 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 and they had an atomic clock as well. And a lot of the same synths I have. But they had these speakers and I never saw them. And there was this moment when I wanted to play some music from me. I will never forget this moment. I was like instantly ashamed of myself when I heard my music on this speaker, because they are so precise, and it's like you take a giant microscope and look on your sound. And before I had a KRK Exposé E8B. It was like the top model from KRK. And I liked them, and it was nice to produce. But when I was listening to my own music at that studio from Daft Punk, I heard so many mistakes. I heard so many wrong things. I got like a rat's face in seconds. And I wanted to disappear. Really. I was super ashamed of myself. So basically these speakers are very interesting. They look like this a little bit, and they have a subwoofer system. It looks like this. It goes down. It goes very down to 5 hertz. So it's
5 hertz.
Yeah, it's like it's earth. I can simulate earthquakes here if I want to. This speaker set. They have something interesting they made. It's you see this and the mids and the high end is floating. It's not connected to the bass. And that means that there are no interferences and the result is you are listening to the music, not to the speaker. And this is something very, very, very important. I mean, it's these days I understood the most important part of a studio is not all of your synths and your compressors and blah blah. It's the room and the speaker. Because they are, or this is the window to your audio world, to what you are actually doing. And I have a very nice picture of this. Imagine you own a big red Ferrari. But this Ferrari is not having windows. It's just having a small little hole. And this hole is dirty as well. And people
is that the very, 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 very first Ferrari?
No, it's like the best possible Ferrari you can buy, but they took out the windows and made just one little hole. And they asked, and people ask you to go on a race. And how can you have a good result, go on a race with just this little window? How can you see the streets? You have a big, perfect, cool machine, you have a supercar, but you cannot see the streets.
No chance.
And it's the same with music. You have today, you have so many possibilities, and the people make the music on little tiny speakers. It's like having this little hole and see all the streets. Impossible. If you want to have the full view on the streets and make your race, you need clean, bright windows. And this is an advice from me. I try to buy the best speaker that you can buy from your money. I mean, of course, most of the people don't have money. I'm crazy. I just invest everything I have into this studio. I'm living almost super poor just because all this gear,
all the gear,
it's going into this gear. Buy the best possible speaker that your money can buy, because this is your window to the race. With this, you can be fast, and if you have a good system, you are able to hear what you do. I mean, we do music, and it's you can listen to your music by your ears. So why not making this as good as possible?
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
It's the most important part of making music. If you listen, if you are able to hear what you're doing, then you naturally make the right decisions. Because you can hear when sounds clash, when a mixdown is not working. You can hear it.
True.
Easy.
And while we're on the topic, for example, Mike, I don't know about you, but I hear this a lot. If I'm working on something in an untreated room, for example, especially on something that has a plate-style reverb on it, a lot of times I can hear all kinds of reverberations come from around the room. The speaker system may be great, but because it's untreated, without any bass traps or anything like that, it is still very difficult to work. Robert, do you know that this is important? Do you find it important to do this?
Yeah, that's why I have all this stuff in my studio. Like it's this big thing, or this on the wall and corners everywhere. There are audio treatments to get the reverb out of this room, but not making the room dead. Just making it like a balanced through all the frequencies, because I don't like when people just kill the room and there's no reverb at all. Just if you are able to make like a constant little nice living room atmosphere, it's the best.
Mike, what about you? What is your setup? Do you have
that's what I was thinking of, that this is in many cases and in many stories this turns into a chain reaction. When you buy monitors, active speakers, which are good or even better than you had before, in the end of the day you come to the situation that you have to adjust the space respectively, and in many cases that's the reason why musicians or laptop-oriented, VST-oriented musicians make music in headphones and then just adjust it in the studio. I have speakers, but my space is not adjusted correctly.
I see.
Yeah, then it's important to buy a good sound card and good headphones that gives you the idea. Headphones can be good, but they are not showing you a real room. The problem with making mixdowns on a headphone is you hear both sides completely separated. You don't hear how the music sounds inside the room. You hear left and right. And this makes your choices of panorama, delays, and everything very different to the way how you work inside a room. It's really different. It's a different way to make music with headphones.
Yeah, especially things like echoes and delays, very difficult to judge in headphones. Because of the reason that you mentioned, it's completely different representation of the signal. Yeah. What about, let's get to the elephant in the room question, the question that a lot of people love to hate, compression and limiting and over-limiting. And I know that you have a certain position, a strong sense of this tendency to over-limit sounds to make it loud and industry standard. Can you share with us what your view on the matter is?
I mean, most of you heard of this loudness war thing. EDM is the perfect example of music that sounds horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Just listen to a recent super mega loud EDM song and you hear basically audio trash.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they destroy everything that could be nice in the music just by making it super loud. Because sometimes they use even interesting harmonies inside some EDM songs, but they destroy it with compression. Okay, compression in general. The principle of a compressor is to make the range of loudness like smaller.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, or I use compression a little bit different. I have a different concept in this. I use compressors to increase the transients in the sounds.
Ah.
It has the... Okay, I try to explain this. I can explain it by a picture. Imagine you have a beautiful landscape, but you have fog everywhere. And by using the compressors with a long attack and a short release, you are able to take away the fog and get contrasts, like you see all the details of the music.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like every sound in the beginning has a very certain type of transient. If you are increasing all these transients, then you increase the contrast of your mix down, and then I use the most natural compressor on this planet. It's tape. It's why I love this tape machine. I have like the music before mastering, when my music is very has a lot of transients, and the idea is I increase the whole transients in the song. I record it on tape, but kind of loud, but not too loud. With this, the tape is taking the transients in a very natural way away, but keeping the dynamics.
Mm.
And it sounds very different to the way if you would do the same with just a limiter on your sounds. This is why my music is kind of organic and sounding big, because I'm not destroying the dynamics. I'm increasing them, and then in the end, I'm trying to get them together, like glue all the elements.
So the glue that is yeah. Go ahead, sir.
And something that many people ask me, what kind of limiter are you using in your mastering stage? I can tell you I don't use any limiter.
Wow. Again, mind blown.
And it's a very interesting thing. I found out a few years ago, maybe. Yeah. Because like back then, I had Waves L2 in my mastering chains like many years ago. And I always came to a problem when you want to make your music loud but sounding nice, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And with limiting, you're washing the sound away. It sounds like washed out, and all the details go away, and it sounds like. What I do is I misuse my converters. If you go to an audio school, the first thing people tell you, never go in red on your computer, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I do this as a feature.
Yeah.
I
Zero as an absolute.
Yeah, and
maximum.
it's not true. It's true in a way that yes, 0 is the end, but it's not destroying your music. I'm using my converter as my limiter. I'm overdriving the converter. I'm going into red, and it sounds amazing. It sounds much better than putting a limiter on it.
Wow, this is incredible. So you have absolutely no limiter at the end of the chain.
No limiter. No, I'm going into red in my converter.
Amazing.
That's how, and because the converters are good and clocked by this atomic clock, they are very precise. And
can you maybe show us this amazing tool, this amazing converters?
Yeah, wait. Okay, let's just let's try make an experiment. Wait. Okay, back to the 303. Let me go fine. Okay, wait. Make some sounds. Okay, so. Okay, this is a. So you can hear? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you see, it's still okay. Yeah. So this is not in the red; it's just red LEDs. So if I'm going into red with this, now I'm completely overdriving. But the signal is still. I'm overdriving it completely, but the signal is completely intact. It's not.
Yeah, that didn't sound like it was artifacting at all. Sounded very intact.
And I really like. I'm super in the red, and it's completely intact. It's not destroyed. It sounds perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to do things in a different way.
Yeah, that is different indeed, and great sounding at the same time.
If you do this way, and if you don't overdo it, of course, if I go like super loud, then the distortion.
Robert, sorry, could you please a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. If you do this way too much, of course, you get on some point you get of course then some distortion is coming up and everything, but the distortion is coming quite late. They don't come directly by hitting 0. It's not true. You can do it.
Right. Amazing tip, everyone. Personally, new to me, definitely. This is amazing sounding. Amazing sound.
Just don't overdo it. It's like the same with everything, of course.
Understandable. Mike, had you seen this before? Overdriving for anything?
Yeah. In previous interviews. Yeah.
Awesome.
Sometimes I couldn't understand because some of them in German, but all those in English over-thumbed, you know.
By the way, what is your view on collaborative work, collaborations?
I work with some people. Just recently, Guy Mansour was here in my studio, and we did a song. I started something with Guy J, and as well me and Guy Borato will do a project now as well. I did music with Mark Romboy and many other people. I'm not so social because I'm a little bit difficult to handle maybe, but I like to work with people.
Yeah.
But I don't like to work with people that don't know what they want. I mean, that's something, again, with this ghost writing thing. I would not do music with somebody who is not able to do music by himself. For me, a collaboration means we are together in the studio, and you play something, I play something, you do something, I do. Like everybody is doing what he is best. I mean, I have a kind of focus on mixdowns and sound designs, and I'm not such a good player. I mean, I play all the elements by hands, but I'm not good. I'm okay.
I see.
But it's nice to make music with somebody who can really play.
Yeah, I know that Mike, for example, his musical journey expanded through collaborations through rock musicians, right, Mike? We were talking about this the other day. It's a very interesting story. And Robert, let's for example take the Robert Babicz project. Let's say Robert Babicz project is about to start a new track. What's first for you? Let's walk through the instrumentation. For example, do you begin with drums and grooves, or is it a melody, or is it the bass? And if you begin, say with drums, with the kick drum, what is the process? Is it synthesis of a kick drum, or is it a sample? Can you guide us? Let's say with the kick drum, whatever is first for you.
Okay. First, I start up the studio, clean the tape machine. And this process, by cleaning the tape machine, gives me some time to think. Because you have to do it every day. And then I decide if I want to be more analog, or just analog, or computer. If I start up the computer, it's always with a complete empty logic. I use Logic as my main sequencer or recording thing, and it's always, when I start, it's empty. And then quite often, because the synths are connected, and wait, let's one moment, just find out. So because the synths are connected and are on the mixer, I can play. And here I have like a super little mini sequencer inside where I just record a sequence and play it. So just by this, quite often I find some ideas. Yeah, just by playing around, that could be a start or the main part of a song. So I quite often just switch on the synthesizer and play, or create some sounds and play something, and then sometimes something happens. Also, no. If I want to make, sometimes I have the feeling, okay, let's make a techno or club track. Then I can start with the bass drum, but the bass drum already defines the whole tuning of the song and the structure for me. Because the harmonic content of the bass drum, it has a tuning, it has a whole, the space of the bass drum is, for me, already giving, like, it's a huge part of the song. So if you decide this on your first step, you don't have too many choices.
I see, you've already set the direction of the track this way.
So sometimes I use kind of a placeholder bass drum, just kind of a click or poke or something like a boop sound on a cheap bass drum that is not too defined. And then I put elements around this. And then I put the right bass drum. As soon as I have a few elements and they work, then I decide which bass drum I should use.
I see. And is this bass drum usually a sample, or is this something that you make on the spot?
Can be everything. Can be Can be a sample. I created a lot of sounds for native instruments. So if you use battery or you use machine, it's probably you used one of my sounds. Yeah, it can be a sample. Can be. I really like this.
Nord lead.
No, it's the, I don't know.
The drum machine above it. Yeah, yes.
Analog rhythm from Electron, but it's like the modern view on a drum machine. Really cool, really great. Or this old bastard.
Oh yes, can never go wrong with this one.
Yeah, for techno it almost always works. So it can be a plain, simple 909 as well. Can be. I mean, sometimes I create. These days, you have some super cool bass drum plugins that are very interesting. They give you new possibilities that we never had before. Where you decide, okay, the beginning of the sound will be E3, and it goes down to C1 and. Something you could never do with this kind of tools.
Yeah, just a few days we were doing this review on a plugin that was released by this company, Sonic Academy, and
yeah, they are great.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you described. Every single portion of the sound of the kick could be manipulated in its own separate way, and then accumulated into this one kick that you wanted tailored to you.
It's really cool. I really like this. And then, play this bass drum through a mic preamp, give it like some beef, and it sounds amazing. I
see. What about the bass itself? How do you go about the bass?
Bass.
Any instruments of choice, particular?
Something that at least is almost a trademark of the Babicz sound is that I use the init sine wave of the Logic sampler.
Wow.
And I create most of the bass lines out of this by manipulating the sine wave with overdrive, with filters. I can create all kind of waveforms out of the sine wave. So many songs are just made with this because you can do so much just out of the sine wave.
So you start with the fundamental wave and then shape it from there. Understand? Yeah, that's a great way to look at it, from the fundaments up. Yeah, that's great.
But a bass can be everything. I mean, I know it can be subtractive synthesis, can be FM synthesis. What gives you inspiration? I mean, I don't have a rule. I'm not here in the studio to. It's not work for me. It's I'm going here and I have a feeling, and I want to express this feeling. I don't care about technology so much. It sounds strange because I have the room full of
in the spaceship.
It's crazy. I have a room full of technology. At the same time, I'm telling you I don't care about technology. It's because I have so much. I don't have. I can focus more on the emotion of the music.
Right. You have transcended technology.
Yeah, with when I make music, I don't have to think how can I do this and this, because 26 years of experience give me some points where to start. So I focus more on the emotional content of a song.
Okay, well, in that case, do you focus on?
Just because I think it's important. When I create songs, because I taught this on a few workshops. I have a concept, I don't create songs out of, let's say, drums, bass, chords, melodies. No, for me, songs are different. I have the concept of imagine when you start to make a song, you have an empty theater stage, completely empty, on a theater. And what I'm doing is I'm putting on this stage some actors. And some actors are in front of the stage, some are in the back, some are doing something that is helping, some are really the main character of this theater stage. And then I work on a story, because all these characters on the stage doing something. They work together, or no, they fight, they make love, they have a discussion, whatever. But all elements in my songs are there because of a reason. There are no sounds just out of random. Everything have a meaning. So every little elements makes sense in this kind of story. So I have. Maybe that's why I started making pictures and be a photographer as well, because for me music is always very I see pictures, I see colors, I see forms when I make music. So I just connect all these spots. So for me, a song is a sculpture in time. If you see, it's all these waveforms and all the sounds, you put them together, you create a sculpture.
No.
And this sculpture is not physical, like you can touch it. No, you make it in the dimension of time. But you can sculpt it. You can go back and forward through your song in time. And it's yeah. So I don't see things as, oh, this is the bass line, this is the chord, and this is this, and this is the breakdown. No, for me, oh, what's happening now? Now somebody's coming, now this, and now we fly, and now we do this. So yeah, for me it's more, it's stories and emotion mixed into sounds.
Yeah, it is truly refreshing to hear once again a musician describe music in a musical term, and not in terms of, like you said, here is the bass and here is the lead, etc., but rather the story that the music tells. It's a very, very excellent point. By the way, Robert, we have a lot of viewers who are just saying hi to you right now, and they're telling us right now that they would absolutely love it to hear a phrase from you in Russian, which basically says, hi everyone. Would you mind if we guide you through it? Would you mind? I'm sure they would love it.
Sure.
Everyone.
I mean, I know Privyet.
There you go. There you go. Can you say it loudly so everyone can?
Privyet.
There you go. Yeah. That was amazing.
Because during all the years I've been so many times in Russia, I think I saw more Russian cities than most of the Russian people. I love Russia. Yeah, super country.
What is your favorite city, by the way?
Russia is interesting because all the cities are so different. I mean, Moscow is not Russia. Moscow is Moscow.
Of course.
But all the cities around, every little city has his own little special, and it can be super nice. I mean, cities like just recently, my last show I had was Krasnodar. Very nice city. The cities in the south are nice during the summer, but as well all up in the north when it's get a bit cold. But people are nice everywhere, at least for me when I come there.
Well, you definitely have a lot of fans there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I love Russia, and do you know my my favorite soup is borscht.
Oh, really? It's mine as well. Mine as well.
And our next target with Serge will be translated as fast as possible into Russian. We promise to you guys. We will translate it very soon.
Okay.
That's incredible. What about Ukraine, Robert? Have you played there often, or what is your?
Yeah, many times, and I like Ukraine as well a lot. And for me, it's a sad thing with Ukraine and Russia, because I was going to Kazantip many years, and I loved it. It was brothers and sisters together.
Yeah, I was on your show when you played with Alex Kruger in 2013.
Okay. Yeah, for me, it was like, for me, Ukrainian people and Russian people were just brothers and sisters on a great festival together. It was magic every time, and I still can't understand what's going on. Really,
neither do we, Robert. Neither do we, because MUZBIZNES is the brightest example that we do not have any quarrels between ourselves, because our team is a collaboration from Kiev, Kharkov, Moscow, Los Angeles, Tunis, Saint Pete, and Armenia.
Super. Really,
yep.
That's good to hear. I support this a lot.
Great, thank you. Robert, there is also, like, more again on the technical note, there is this strong movement towards making mixes wide. What is your opinion on this? Just width of a sound.
Yeah,
I understand that the techno scene has its own views on these things and has always stood in its own. But what is your personal opinion?
My personal opinion, as a mastering engineer and performer on many stages around this planet, is there's a big problem with super wide mixes, because. And here comes the funny part. A lot of clubs, many clubs, running their systems in mono.
Wow.
Because the sound engineers are quite often too lazy. They don't have the right... it's complicated to make a good stereo field at a club. So the easiest way for most of the guys is make it mono.
Wow.
And with this, it means that all your super wide mixes are collapsing and sounding like shit. So that's why I have something, a very important button in my studio. It's this button. I don't know if you see.
Yeah.
Alt.
Mono. There we go.
Oh. With this, I can listen to the song in mono. For me, it's just it's a basic step when I make music or make mastering. The first thing I test is press this button and listen what happens. And many songs just collapse. That means complete parts of instruments disappear, because they are out of phase. It sounds super wide on your system and on the headphones. Wow, super sexy. Play it in mono and the sounds are gone.
Songs are gone, yeah.
So,
excellent way to put it.
It's nice to have a wide stereo field, but be careful. That's my advice. Or if you have the possibility, there are plugins these days as well, where you sum your sounds together and just always test your own music. In the end, before you record it, how it sounds in mono.
And don't forget to visit a toilet, right?
Of course. And by the way, the toilet thing makes the same, because if you are far away and you listen to the sum of both signals.
It's a combination, a mono song on the toilet.
Yeah.
Best mix.
No, it's,
I'm kind of...
It's important, really. Try to listen to your own songs in mono, and you see what happens. It's sometimes super dramatic.
Excellent point. Excellent point. I'm kind of a bit almost afraid to ask the next question after hearing that you don't use a limiter, but rather use the tape to do this effect. But the question that originally came in was, do you have a mastering chain, a chain that you will usually use, a selected sort of set of gear that's geared towards mastering? Or is it different each time?
Just recently, I updated from before. I had a patch bay, like all the gear was connected to the patch bay, and I was connecting cables. Now I have a new tool. This is this machine. It's very, very interesting. Looks super boring. Tigla Audio Manufacture, and it's the name is Connector. And all my mastering gear is connected to this machine, and then I have a plug-in. Wait, I can show you. Because I was doing a mastering just before our talk, so I can show you. Here is Connector, and I don't know if you see it here.
Yeah.
It's all my analog gear as a plugin, and I can change the combination like plugins, but with real gear. This is real gear I can change, and I can solo or bypass all my mastering chain of this gear here. Wait. Here, this stuff.
Oh, Robert, we don't hear you.
Yeah, your microphone.
Microphone.
There we go.
So all the stuff is connected and controlled by this plugin, where I control the chain. I control the gear by itself, but the chain is connected and controlled by this thing.
This plugin. Is this a plugin that is custom made for your needs, or is this?
No, it's you can buy it. The plugin is just controlling this unit that is actually connecting all the gear, and it's super interesting because now I'm able to. I can say, okay, let's. Before, when I was doing mastering, it was very time-consuming. To, let's say, I want to hear the EQ before the compression or after the compression, or okay. Again, I show it. It's easier. So I have in the mastering chain 3 EQs. It's this, and this. And then I have many different compressors as well. Here. And every of this is used most of the time. So you see in the chain, they are all together. Because something with compression at the mastering stage is every of these compressors is doing a little bit. So if I play a song, the needle in the view meters is moving like this, like a little bit. But because I'm using many compressors in a row, every compressor is just doing this little bit, but this little bit adds up. So if you have 3 compressors in a row after each other, everybody is doing little bit of compression, but not destroying the sound, just little bit. And the next one is little bit again. But in the end, all this little bit is like big.
Okay. But not
really like with this way you keep the dynamics in a natural way still intact, but make the song a little bit more Yeah, like give it a bit more power without destroying.
And each compression has its own probably unique character.
Yeah, that's the thing. I use different kind of compressors because they have different ways to compress, and that's very interesting. It's making music or mastering. You can compare it to cooking. You can cook a real nice food with very basic ingredients. Yeah, that's
such as salt and pepper.
Yeah, but you can make amazing food if you do a little bit of this spice and a little bit of this spice and this, and if you make it right, then this basic food can be an art form. And it's the same with a mix down or mastering. A little bit of this, a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, and then you make it like super amazing, interesting. I mean, my work, when people ask me, what is a mastering engineer? I tell them, you can compare it to a makeup artist. Imagine a really nice looking woman is coming to you, and my job is to make this woman the most beautiful queen on this planet.
Yeah.
That's my job as a mastering engineer. That means if a woman is super ugly, I can make it okay. So if a song is not well mixed and have many mistakes, I can make it maybe okay, but not the most beautiful life form on this planet.
That's a fantastic way to put it. Very visual and clear.
Yeah, we get it. We definitely get it.
That's the job of a mastering engineer.
Okay. In fact, we have a lot of people watching who are new to techno, and they're new to techno production, and they're asking for not so much guidance as advice. Do you have some sort of advice for someone just getting specifically into techno music and to the techno scene?
Go on a party and dance is number one. Because techno is good techno is kind of massage of your inner organs. Then techno is right. If you listen to it on a very loud sound system in a club, and it's making a massage inside you, and you can feel it, and it makes you feel very euphoric and intense, then it's good. So number one, if you want to do techno, go out and dance to music. You have to feel the music. It's really it's important, because techno is a physic way of listening to music. It's not just listening to music. You have to feel it. That's why I sometimes dance naked around this crazy room. Because I want to feel it. I can be very loud here with my earthquake simulation.
And especially with all this magic spaceship gear that you have, it must be very pleasant to hear.
Right.
It can be very funny. But yeah, it's I think one of the most important part, feel the music. And then you don't need too much stuff. I think just with the stuff that is, when you buy a basic Ableton or you buy Logic or Cubase or whatever, just with the onboard plugins, you can do almost everything. Really.
Robert, please, could you please remind one story to our subscribers that you have told a couple of times in your interviews, when you had the situation and worked only with internal library in Logic, I think, yeah?
Okay. It was the song One Night in Melbourne. And this song is basically done. It was interesting. I was at the hotel, and my Logic opened up, and it was empty. It had no sounds. Like, all my library was gone. And I wanted to make some music because I had. It was during a tour in Australia, and was super amazing, and like I couldn't sleep, and I wanted to make music after the gig. Like, can happen. But my logic was empty, and I created all the sounds inside this song just out of this init sine tone of the Logic sampler. Like all the bass lines, all the melody sounds, all the drummings, you can do everything with a simple synth. Really, you can do all the drumming, you can distort and filter a waveform and create all sounds you need out of simple sound. So just go on YouTube, Robert Babicz, A Night in Melbourne.
Yeah, Night in Melbourne.
You can hear that all the sounds that are inside this made out of init sine wave from Logic.
Wow. Wow. By the way, Robert, we have Max Prostev says huge thank you to you for making the music that you make. Says he's been listening to your stuff since the very beginning.
Thank you very much.
And also an interesting question here about what do you think about the importance of professional mixing and mastering versus a a good sounding sound design? So initial sounds that sound well versus the work that an engineer has to put in later on. And I think you already...
It works all together. Me as a mastering engineer, if somebody gives me shit, I can make some gold powder on this shit, but it's still shit.
Shit in, shit out.
I can speak for myself. I make the music, I make the mix down as good as possible. So during the mastering stage, I have the best mastering is when I have to do as less as possible. Just correct a little bit here, take out a resonance frequency there, and run it to the converter in red. Like super simple. Then it's perfect. That's the perfect mastering, if you don't have to do many things.
But do you find that this is does this happen often to you? Is this in practice? I mean, do you get tracks where your input has to be this little, or do you often find that you have to do radical changes?
I try to be in contact with my clients, and if I hear something that where I say, okay, this is really not good, I try to help and give some tips to improve this, because it's also because I'm a little bit selfish in that way. If I help my client to be better, then my work is more easy. So I try to help them to be as good as possible, because then I have it's more nice for me to work.
Yep.
So,
by the way, Robert,
that's why I don't have any secrets. That's why I'm always telling everything, because I think we have to share and help each other. With this, the music gets better.
Oh yeah, yeah, understandable. And we have even the head of our team, actually, Armin. He's personally thanking you for the track "Dark Flower."
Yeah, it's his favorite one.
Okay.
Yeah, and he says there even was a time where he had this song on repeat 20 plus times, just consistently listening to this track. Big fan.
Perfect. Thank you.
I think, Mike, do you have any questions you would like to ask? Thank you for giving me a word, because now I'm also thinking about one thing. Okay. Robert, we are, in fact, we are now in the situation with Serge when we are just like a couple of New Year trees overloaded with questions from our subscribers, and they are coming and coming and coming. So we kindly ask you for one more show and one more dialogue at least, because
sure, we can do part 2 a little bit. Sure, we can do it.
Wonderful, yeah, because
and then you prepare all the questions and we can go like through them. It's possible.
Yep.
If the people want
Sounds
to
great.
do it.
Nice.
Yeah, because we understand there are so many questions, a lot of people watching you right now, and we don't want to keep you for so long. You know, we want to maybe have a part two and
I want to
continue
do
there.
music.
Yep, understandable. I mean, after hearing you speak about the process, so do I, and I'm sure so does everyone who's watching. Right? Everyone can't wait to run to their synthesizers and to the studio and start working.
Make some stories. When you can make like sounds that come together, fall in love, and make little baby sounds. So
that's what you should make. Sample sounds that are called as a collection, baby sounds.
Yeah.
These are
Baby
sounds that
sounds.
came out of love.
Yeah. That's
So,
Excellent.
Probably we could
homework.
move. Probably we could move to our next nice stage. Yes, which is digital Russian, so to say.
Okay.
We would like to ask you, Robert, to say one phrase in Russian, which is in English equivalent will sound like making music is a cool thing. In Russian,
I try.
Okay. In Russian, this will sound «заниматься музыкой – это круто». Let's try to pronounce word by word and then all together, okay?
Okay.
Заниматься
Заниматься
музыкой
музыкой
– это
это
круто.
круто.
Заниматься музыкой
Заниматься музыкой
– это круто.
это круто.
Perfect.
Заниматься музыкой это
Это
круто.
круто.
That's just perfect, Robert. Wow, that is perfect.
And
Thank you so much, Robert.
Yeah, thank you. That was a real pleasure to have such a conceptual and warm conversation. We also wanted to ask you, Robert Babicz for MUZBIZNES. We also collect them.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
This is for-
Robert Babicz for MUZBIZNES.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Robert. It was fantastic having you. It was like Mike said, it was a pleasure talking with you. Definitely refreshing to hear musicality. Not in terms of not in terms of sounds by themselves, but in terms of the combination, the musical whole as it stands.
Yeah, something just as an end to what I'm doing music for 26 years now. 26 years, and I consider myself as an advanced beginner.
Advanced beginner.
That's my level right now.
Always learning, always more to learn.
Always learning. I'm learning really every day still.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And to all the viewers, thank you for joining us. All the listeners,
yes,
all the
guys,
viewers.
for being with us.
I'm sure you had just as great of a time as me and Mike did. Very, very eye-opening. Am I right, Mike?
Yes, definitely. And we promise to translate it as ASAP. Yeah.
Okay, so you will do a complete Russian translation, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
So this will be also available in CIS countries, in Ukraine, Russia, Belarus, Armenia, and Kazakhstan, and so on. So in all our territory. Special thanks to Katrin Souza. We would like to express.
She made the contact.
Yes, Catherine, thank you very much. And I believe we could finish it for now.
Yeah, I believe we are done. Thank you all once again, and thank you, Robert. And Robert, would remind you to maybe stay a few extra minutes because we're burning with questions for you.
Some more minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for watching.